O is for Oswald V. Vanstein, a 38-year-old scholar who was the nerd that shoved the jocks into the locker. Like, Jesus Christ, look at the size of this man. Oswald's story starts in tragedy. Oswald's wife Rita and their daughter Elena were murdered in a fire by Oswald's fellow scholar Harvey, and to make matters worse, Harvey has pinned the blame for the crime on Oswald. And so, he's been sentenced to jail in a prison island. And no, not the cool one with Metal Harbor from Sonic Adventure. This one is a frozen hell, with abusive guards, abrasive prisoners, and the air of death all around him. No one on Frigid Isle finishes their prison sentence, nor can they escape. Death claims them long before then. But for 5 years, Oswald endures this hell, because he lives for one thing and one thing only: to see the day Harvey answers for his crimes.
Harvey, you took everything from me. This fire in my breast shall never be extinguished, and you shall die by my hand. I swear it.
As you can probably tell by that plot synopsis, Oswald's story is very intense. The stakes are high, the motive is serious, and the villain is just evil. There isn't as much room for light-hearted moments or humor as there might be for the other 7 travelers. But Oswald's tale keeps you engaged by the merit of how simple it is to get behind his character. Sure, a dead family is basically the white bread of character backstories, but it is for a reason. It's easy to sympathize with someone who's lost their loved ones. And when that same person wants to go on a murderous rampage because their loved ones were murdered, hey man, who hasn't committed first-degree murder sometimes? The simplicity of the backstory helps it deliver gut punches that are highly effective in ripping your heart out.
Papa, wait! Aren't you forgetting something?
Am I?
You didn't say I'm home yet.
I'm home.
What makes Oswald's story really good, however, is its plot twist, which in my opinion is the best of the 8 stories. Oswald's story starts, and you think it's going down a pretty predictable path. The good old-fashioned, if you go on a journey of revenge, dig 2 graves kind of story. Which, don't get me wrong, that isn't a horrible moral, but given that Harvey killed 2 innocent women and framed an innocent man, maybe live and let live is not the best advice. I think the advice should be fucking get his ass. But during his chapter 4, secret plot details occur, and it completely changes the direction of the story, and makes both Oswald a whole new character to root for, and Harvey a man you want to sentence to the most ghetto backstreets of Philadelphia.
Your constant harassment
Oswald.
makes me sick.
But a character is more than just the story that they go on. In terms of personality, Oswald is, predictably, very serious. In his banter with other travelers, his serious nature is either the butt of a joke or used to talk about whatever's happening in their individual plots. He doesn't really have the goofy or silly banter, like when Particio and Ochette got shit-faced on Good Booze, or when Temenos was teasing Throne, but he does have a lot of moments where he's supporting his fellow travelers. His knowledge of a lot of topics serves as a boon to his companions, and the rest of the cast generally respects him for his wisdom, though they tend to try to find a hole in his rigid attitude. And that's not to say he's completely devoid of silly moments, but they're often not laugh-out-loud funny. More so just a sensible chuckle, or maybe a strong nose exhale. In particular, I find his interactions with Particio and Ochette to be the most enjoyable. Particio's endearing optimism and happy attitude clash really well with Oswald's serious nature, leading to Oswald learning from Particio in a likable manner. And Ochette doesn't have a damn thought in her head, and her smooth brain clashes with Oswald in ways that pretty consistently get a smile. Oswald's character is proof that you don't need a bunch of witty one-liners or self-aware lines to make fun scenes. Sometimes, you can just let a well-written character breathe and bounce off of other characters, and humor can come naturally. Master Edmund is talkative. Yes, you're a polar opposite, Oswald. Not necessarily. I'm quite loquacious during internal debates. What do you mean? I maintain multiple mental versions of myself, each with a different perspective, and we're constantly debating. So you talk to yourself? That's kind of funny, in an odd way. I thought you were a kind soul, Casty. In gameplay, Oswald is a mage, and he does typical mage things. Massive magical damage, dies to being looked at funny. Which, I will admit, kinda clashes with what else we've seen of him. You're telling me that Oswald, this giant behemoth of a man, whose first scene is him strangling a prisoner for his notebook, has the lowest physical attack in the game? You're telling me this man would lose in an arm wrestling contest to Agnia? Well, thankfully, he mainly works out at the library. He can decimate enemies with powerful area of effect spells that make him great for clearing out common goons. And for bosses or powerful single enemies, he can use his latent power to harness his area of effect spells onto a single target to really fuck them up in particular. He also has the ability to learn of one of the enemy's weaknesses just by looking at them. And in a game built around weakness exploitation, that is a huge boon. My big brain tells me that being set on fire will kill you. Damn it, he knows! Out of battle, Oswald has two abilities that tie into his character. In the daytime, Oswald utilizes his years of study and lectures to scrutinize people, asking them questions to figure out information. But society generally frowns upon a 6'6" giant asking you your credit card information, so it has a % chance to fail. And 5 years in the joint didn't make Oswald a fucking pussy, because he can use that prison knowledge in his night skill, Mug. He can beat the shit out of anyone in the game and take their lunch money. But given that Oswald is a frail mage, he can just as easily get his shit stomped in. There is honestly nothing funnier than Oswald threatening to kill someone for their goods, and then he gets sent to hell with express shipping. Oswald is a solid character, with a good story, a good personality, and some good gameplay. He's the complete package that I honestly have nothing to really complain about. And for the first character I'm showing off from Octopath Traveler 2, he's the best way to start. If he's interested you at all, please consider picking up Octopath Traveler 2. And if I haven't managed to fully convince you, I can't show the cutscene due to spoilers, but I will say that Oswald's story eventually ends with a Dragon Ball Z beam struggle. No, I am not going to elaborate on that. Buy the game.